This is the satellite aerial map of the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids. In the center is the town of Visoko, about 20,000 people town. It's about 28 kilometers northwest from the capital city of Sarajevo. We have scheduled excursion to Sarajevo on Friday afternoon. Now, two main rivers, River Fonica and the River Bosna. This is the view of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, three-dimensional, north, east, west is here, with the access plateau, with the causeway that leads to the top of the pyramid. This is one used in the pyramid science. This is not freestanding pyramid, but has this pavement coming from the perfect west. Similar thing is with the moon pyramid. Western triangular face, east, north and south, and the causeway is coming from the east. In the case of the dragon pyramid, we have the causeway coming from the south. So we have three pyramids facing each other with their bodies behind them. Very interesting and new design in the world of the pyramids. Now, this causeway is about 250 meters long and about 80 meters wide, completely paved by the sandstone plates. Sandstone is very common architectural construction material here in Bosnia. You can find it anywhere. You can quarry it anywhere. The moment the causeway hits the pyramid, the material changes. It changes to the concrete block, which you're going to see in a couple of hours. Now, from this point up, it's 220 meters. However, you see the corner, how it extends all the way to the bottom of the valley. You see the eastern slope. It extends all the way to the valley for another 100 meters. We have not discovered the foundation yet. It's very possible it is much higher than 220 meters. Now, to the right is the entrance to the labyrinth Ravne, which is right here, 2.5 kilometers, and we are moving towards the pyramid. Here on this little map, we can see the tunnels, the part of the tunnel network, and we can see the pyramid there. What we are doing, we are going south, and then we will be coming east, exactly below the western plateau. We will be coming 100 meters below the plateau. What you're going to see inside are two mysteries. The first one, who built such a huge network of tunnels and chambers? According to some of our radiocarbon datings, it seems that the age of the tunnel building is over 10,000 years. The second mystery will be who and why sealed all these tunnels. According to the radiocarbon datings of some of the organic material found in the filling material, it happened 5,000 years ago. Most probably we have two civilizations, 5,000 and 10,000 years ago, who were dealing with the tunnels here. Now, the height of the tunnel is approximately 2 meters in average. We have secured the tunnels with a wooden support, and that's what we actually do. We clean the tunnels, we put the wooden support so it is safe for the visitors and the researchers. The airflow is perfect, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later. People who have problems with the claustrophobic, when they get in there, they feel that. Extremely positive atmosphere inside, extremely high concentration of negative ions. We will be talking about it when we are inside. As a matter of fact, the next following 1.5 hours, you will be exposed to the free of charge healing treatment. Now, inside you will need to use the safety hats. Also, we will be seeing our volunteers from different countries, very nice people. Some of them young, some of them in good years, and they are helping us with this project. They are helping us removing tons and tons of the filling material. So while inside, you will, understand nicely what I'm talking about. Okay, let's get inside. Just watch your head first 10-15 meters. It's a little bit lower, and then it's fine. double check where's the name. Okay, we just entered the underground labyrinth Ramne. Underground because we are going to be in average 20 meters below the ground. Labyrinth, it's a huge network of tunnels, chambers, intersections, underground artificial lakes. From this spot to the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is 2.5 kilometers. In the last 5 years we have cleaned and secured about 500 meters. When I say secured, we've been placing the wooden support so this place is safe for the visitors and the researchers. Now on this very spot we can see the first intersection, one tunnel going to the left and one to the right. The one that goes to the right curves and it goes to the opposite direction of the pyramid. The one that goes to the left goes in southerly direction and the pyramid is located south. So this is what we follow. So we can continue from this place on. We are 70 meters from the entrance. This is the place that we call egg-shaped monolith. See this monolith, about 300 kilos, it does have the shape of the egg. As a cosmic symbol, egg represents the birth process. Secondly, on its top we can see like 7 hills. It's possible that this was the topography of terrain thousands of years back. Number 3, we can see this line on the top, all the way to the top. So it looks like it was a lid, a cover. Number 4, the sharper point is here. Looks like it was a marker at the same time. And when we continue in this direction, we can see some stones, the wall, and we can see the tunnel which is completely sealed. And number 5, just below this monolith there is an underground river flow, and the river flows exactly in this direction. For us in 21st century, this is just a piece of rock. For the ancient people, this was a marker. This was something that they would show where the positive energy or underground water flows were located, just by looking at it. Everything we find here, we leave in the original place, which is very important, because we don't know what will happen if we move it from there. So that's important for the future investigation. This is the place that we call the megalith K2, megalith K2. The first one, the egg-shaped one was 300 kilos. The other two over here, 3.5 tons and 4 tons. This guy here, 8 tons. As we go deeper, the blocks are getting bigger and bigger. Now, let's see its features. Look at the surface, like somebody was modeling the surface, making the hills and valleys and rivers. Second, look at the line here that runs on the surface, going all the way. Looks like it was a cover, a lid. Number 3, for those of you who are next to me, below the megalith, we can see the plate, which is about 15 centimeters thick. This plate was obviously a support for the megalith. That's very important archaeological finding. If you have a support, it means that somebody picked up this particular place because of its importance, and then they placed the megalith on top of it. Of course, there are some geologists who, from their cozy chairs and offices in Sarajevo, Tuzla, London or New Orleans, claim that everything here is natural. But if you have the bedding, the support, and then the megalith, it means somebody did it here purposely. Between the support and the megalith there is a binding material based on calcium carbonate. So somebody did not want this megalith to move left or right. Why? We think that we know the answer. 22 meters below us there is an underground water, rather powerful source. the water is coming from this direction. That's why we have this straight flat side here. And then it's hitting something below, and then it splits to the left and to the right. That's the reason why we have the crack here, because this block has been exposed to this energy from down below for thousands of years. Now, we took samples from the top of the megalith and sent them to the Institute Ruđer Bošković in Zagreb. That's the Institute for Atomic Physics, one of the leading scientific institutions here in the Balkan region. And asked them a very simple question. If this was a natural sandstone block or artificially made block. They applied two very sophisticated scientific methods. The one is phase analysis and the other one is Röntgen diffraction analysis. They sent us conclusions saying this is definitely ceramic. Ceramic. It's geopolymer ceramic. So somebody was making this piece most probably here at this spot. Then what we did, we used the georadar instrument. And what the georadar told us was that this piece was made in two layers, in two pieces. The base about 30 centimeters thick, and then there is an air pocket between the base and the lid, the cover. And the second thing they told us was that exactly in the middle of the megalith there is an oval object inside. So what they did, they poured the base, they placed the oval object, and then they sealed it. So as much as this block is interesting from the outside, as the archaeological artifact, it's even more interesting what it hides inside. So let's see what we have. We have underground water. Water generates the energy. The energy is hitting this oval object. It activates it. It is surrounded by ceramic. The ceramic vibrates. And the vibration generates the electromagnetic field, which we can measure using our scientific instruments. We place the oscilloscope here. It shows 31 kilohertz. Electromagnetic field has to have artificial source. So we are in presence of the ancient technology. Totally different than ours, but technology. Now, we have a lot of people coming, from the spiritual communities, metaphysical communities. They come here, they can feel different energy, very powerful energies. People come, meditate here. They think that the moment they come here, they're already in the aura of this huge block. So I will let you to do your stuff if you're interested in that over the next couple of 3 afternoons while you are here. But very powerful spot in the tunnels. We can move on. Yes.
I have just a couple of questions. So just to get it clear with you, okay, so you're saying that they made this here. You're calling it ceramic, but then you're saying it's a geopolymer, like it's a conglomerate. They're making it, but they're not heating it like it's normal ceramic. You have to put in an oven,
yes,
and heat.
Yes,
but they're not doing that with this. No. It's like a
cold cast resin.
Okay, yeah, cold cast, like concrete. Okay, exactly. Yeah, and they're breaking it. So you're saying, you're calling it ceramic, but it's really, it's like it's a kind of a concrete. Oh, there's a little slug here. But yeah, and in my mind, it seems more accurate to say, cement or concrete rather than ceramic. But of course, they didn't bring it in here like this. They couldn't have done that, unless they made the pyramid above it or something. So then, according to you then, they have the tunnels, they're bringing in this material, cement.
Yes.
And then they cast it into 2 pieces to put it here. It's like a concrete lid, then you're
concrete
saying.
Lid.
Oh, okay.
All natural materials. They use what they could find around it. So not cement in the modern sense, but Some type of concrete, yes.
Well, yeah, the
they
geopolymer.
had technology.
Like you're familiar with the Davidovitz
Yes.
theory of casting the pyramids, like that, yeah. And
He was the one who was making some sample analysis.
yeah, okay, and yeah, his thing of the geopolymers, yeah.
Yes.
And of course, concrete is very, ingenious thing, a liquid stone,
Yes.
yeah, that you can
Liquid
pour,
stone,
yeah.
exactly.
And ancient people used concrete a lot, of course, the Mayans and
Yes,
Romans and,
yes.
and before that, sure.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you're calling it ceramic, but
Well, that's
yeah,
what
to
that's
me,
what we got
concrete
from
is a
Visoko.
better.
But when you say it, it looks more like concrete, I agree.
Yeah.
But then...
I mean,
the
ceramic really
material-
has to be baked, really, I
Yes,
think.
yes.
Okay.
But that's what they got as a structure,
Yeah, yeah.
on ceramic. But
It's a chemical reaction to
yes.
make concrete. So, is it a limestone then, like concrete? Right? Yeah? I mean, when they analyzed it,
a lot of sandstone.
a lot of
A
sandstone.
lot of sandstone.
How much calcium
Quartz.
carbonate?
Some.
Is it how large is the cavity inside? Do you know?
It's not a cavity. On the georadar, well, for those of you who are not very familiar, georadar it's an instrument, and based on different speed of rays, we can figure out what type of the material. If it is a hollow space, then the rays travel with a high speed. If it is water, then the speed is less. If it is stone, less, metal, less, and so on. What they told us here, it is not a hollow space, it is not water, it is not metal, it is not this structure, but different material.
Okay.
So
it's
they
just got a
did
different-
definitely place something in there, and then they covered it.
it's a different.
My name is David Hatcher Childress. I am a writer on archaeological mysteries from the USA, and I've been invited here to Visoko in Bosnia to look at what they're calling the Pyramid of the Sun and the Moon and the tunnels. They have other megaliths here, including round balls, other standing stones, and I'm finding it very interesting here in Visoko. There's obviously some strange things going on. There do seem to be some ancient structures. The people here tend to believe that there's some kind of ancient pyramid, even more than one here. And they're showing us some really unusual things, including large sandstone slabs. We're seeing these strange tunnels that are going into the mountains. When you look at the pyramids here, they're very intriguing, and the more you study them, the more mysterious they get. It seems that there are some artificial stones here. Some of it appears to also be natural. You can look at the pyramids here, and when you look at them, they do seem to be pyramids, certainly from at least some angles. And when I think about it, I think that you have two ways of making a pyramid. You can start with blocks of stone, and you can add to it also packed earth and clay. And let us use, for example, pyramids in Egypt, where there are many stones, very large stones, stacked up on top of each other. Eventually they come to a point, and everything is man-made. Other pyramids, such as in China or also in the United States and Mexico, you have them made of earth, packed earth that is packed. Sometimes there are stones there too at the base. But there's another way of making pyramids as well, and that is to take what is a natural mountain, and you begin to cut it away and turn what's really natural into something artificial, just by shaping the earth, shaping the mountain, and creating a pyramid. We know that other cultures have done this before. For example, Monte in Mexico is also a mountain. They have cut the top of the mountain off. They have shaped it into a large pyramid and turned it into an artificial structure. The tunnels here in Visoko are especially interesting and seem to be very extensive and old. It's one of the more mysterious things that you find here. Those tunnels are near to the Pyramid of the Sun, but they're not actually inside the pyramid itself. You would think there is some connection with it, but it's not really completely clear to me that the tunnels and the pyramids are connected. Oftentimes in ancient pyramids there is some tunnel going inside, typically into the center of the pyramid, and even the word pyramid is coming from the Greek language, meaning fire in the center. So it would be interesting if at some future time they are finding more tunnels, some that are going actually into the center of what they call the Pyramid of the Sun. It's fascinating that there has been a great deal of scientific study here with sensitive instruments looking for special energies that are coming from these pyramids, inside the tunnels, even coming from the top of the pyramid. And studies have shown that whenever you have geometric shapes, whether it is pyramid shape, other kinds of shapes too, dodecahedrons, even you have other energies that are continually moving through the landscape, such as underwater rivers and things like that, that these will create electromagnetic effects. And according to the studies here, they are finding such energies here in Visoko. Whenever you have such a large mountain or pyramid like you have here in Visoko, it's going to take a lot of excavation, a lot of studies, being covered in soil, and even you have trees that are growing on this structure. It's really got to be a lot of work. And even though they have done many years of work already, in my mind they clearly have to do much more study and work to uncover these structures that they believe are here. Ultimately, to prove that these are pyramids, they're going to have to uncover on all the different sides of the pyramid artificial constructions, stones that are cut and placed by man. Also, if there is this kind of ancient concrete that was facing the pyramid, we're going to have to find that on all the different sides of it. And already they are beginning to uncover this evidence, but more work is needed. I would like to come back here to Visoko and Bosnia, and it's clear to me that there are many things to find here. Not just these pyramids and tunnels, but other structures that are in different parts of Bosnia.
Velocity, but it's not hollow.
Yes, exactly, not hollow. Alright, you can move on. Now, we have used this tunnel to come here, so let's name it tunnel number 1. And then you were able to see this beautiful drywall. This drywall seals 3 tunnels. To my left we can see half-circle ceiling, filled in with the material. But when you get inside, you can find 1 tunnel to the left and 1 to the right. Let's call them tunnels number 2 and 3. In front of me there is a tunnel number 4. You are standing in tunnel number 5. year and a half ago, it was completely filled in with the material. And all the way to the right, behind these girls, we can see the tunnel number 6. So we came to the intersection with 6 tunnels. This is the biggest intersection so far. The height of the ceiling is 2.5 meters. Now, since all of the tunnels were sealed when we came here, which way to go? South is in front of me. We should be cleaning tunnel number 4. However, in order to do that, we would need to destroy this beautiful wall, which is very important archaeologically speaking. We are finding real nice pieces in there. So we said, okay, let's leave tunnel number 4, let's open tunnel number 5, the one that you are standing in. And eventually, when we get to next intersection, we're gonna make left, going south. And that's exactly what happened 20 meters after. We were cleaning the material, we found T intersection, letter T, and we made left. Now, this is a very nice intersection. In the opposite direction, there is another tunnel. We opened that one also. Why? To make like a circle. The reason why? For the safety precautions. We have like 4 circles like that. In a case that the ceiling collapsed on one, we would always have several emergency exits. And that's very important. Safety is really the biggest concern here. And there is one tunnel there. Now, since we could not use that open section that leads to the south because of the water, we left the water alone. Maybe the water is the most valuable thing that we have here in the town. We said, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to go to the right, 30-40 meters, and then again, we're going to make left towards the pyramid. So that left can be here, or since we already have very nice tunnel there, you see how tall is the ceiling, 3.5 meters. Let me go through. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Another possibility is to clean the tunnel that goes to the left. This one is almost 4 meters in height. There is another one here, much lower, 2.5. This one is 4 meters. So most probably we're going to put the wooden support there, and we're going to move to the pyramid, from here in this direction. Okay, now we're going to be going back, and I want to show you one more very interesting spot. So, all right, one more spot I'd like to show you. We had a georadar specialist from Italy in the month of July. So they came with a georadar instrument, and they checked our floors. They wanted to know if there is something under. And they checked about 450 meters. And they discovered one anomaly. It's exactly on this photo. Now here we can see the depths. 0.5 meter, 1 meter, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 2.5, 4 meters. So about 13 feet in depth. Here is the floor, this natural bed. And to the left and to the right, we can see a natural sedimentation of clay. But then something is happening here, like somebody was digging, and then we can see some type of the structure. Very interesting structure. Why is it interesting? First, because of the shape. It looks like it has a diamond shape. Some type of the chamber with some type of the bed in the middle. And then another diamond-shaped chamber, something in the middle. Now we made a 3D drawing right here. We added the depth, about 1 meter. So 1 meter in depth, 2 meters in height, 180 in length. So diamond-shaped chamber, some type of the bed here, another diamond-shaped chamber, and most probably another one. Now this is 4 meters in depth, so it is not clear as very close to the surface. Now, this is an anomaly, some type of structure that somebody built under the ground. As far as the purpose, hard to say. The Italians immediately claimed, oh, this is probably the burial site, and since there are two chambers, maybe kings or queens. Some of our Finnish colleagues thought that because of the electromagnetic fields, it could be a part of the mechanism. And my personal view is that it might be some type of the connection between this level and potential lower level. And now I would like to introduce you our leading archaeologist this season in Visoko, Dr. Sara Conci. She is from Italy. She's a specialist for Etruscan culture, and she has been running the archaeological work last season, this winter, this season. So Sara, if you can say a few words.
Yeah, well, first of all, welcome to Bosnia, welcome to Visoko, and thank you for coming, because my biggest problem with people, with scientists, with tourists, is that everybody is writing a lot of things on internet, but a lot of people don't want to come. So maybe you're skeptical, maybe you don't believe in pyramids here in Visoko, but actually you decided to come, and that's the biggest step. I was speaking with some of you, and the scientific community is totally against the project. But when I'm speaking with my colleagues in Italy, everybody's telling me, oh, don't come back to Italy because now you're wasting your time and you will not be able to find a job as an archaeologist anymore. And my first question is always, okay, but have you ever been to Visoko? And the answer 99% of the time is no. So how can you consider yourself as a scientist if you don't even want to come here and to judge after being able to see these structures? So now you had the chance to visit the tunnels. During the conference I will be able to present you some new discoveries, very interesting discoveries we have done inside the tunnels. So thank you really for coming. I hope you will enjoy this week. If you have questions, I'm here for you. So that's it. We'll speak during the... We have 1 week to speak, to stay together. So thank you so much again and welcome again.
Now, according to the anthropological genetics, the Balkan is the second oldest cultural oasis in Europe, about 40,000 years. 40,000 or 20,000 or 12,000 years ago, we have not had an ice age here. Everything north from Austria, Germany, France, Poland, Scandinavian countries, there was a 3,000 meter thick layer of ice. But everything south from Austria, today Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, Greece, southern Italy, never had ice. The average temperature was only 3 degrees less. So we've always had very pleasant conditions to live. As you can see, a lot of greenery. With the greenery and forest, you have food and you have material to build your houses. Abundance of water. So with the water and food and presence of man, you have all the elements for the civilization. So they would come and go over tens of thousands of years period. We can move on. Now we are at the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. We are close to the bottom of the pyramid. And you see this concrete post for the power, for electricity? That's exactly on the edge between the north and the east. According to Dr. Shimatovic, who's here, where is he? This side is approximately 554 meters, 620 or so. So we have the rectangular base, even though we are not quite sure where is the base, where the foundation is. So I was showing on the photo where 220 meters is. And if we continue all the way to the valley, it's additional 100 meters. Today our first stop was on the other side of the freeway. You can see the freeway 3-4 kilometers from here. Can you see it? Yeah. So we were standing on the other side. So while standing there, we could see a perfect triangular side, the northern side. But once you come here, all you see is the forest, grass and soil. Now, you need to move back, move away from the pyramids in order to see the regular geometry. I also said that this side is perfectly oriented to the cosmic north. the location of the Northern Star. Now we are standing in our archaeological trench number 4C, which we opened in 2006, April of 2006. This was the first block that we uncovered. As you can see, it does have a rectangular shape, 4.5 meters by 1.5, 45 centimeters thick. It has flat top, break at 90 degrees, flat side, break at 90 degrees, flat bottom. It has 6 flat sides and 6 breaks at 90 degrees. It's obvious that it is not made by nature, even though some geologists would wish to, but this is made by intelligent hand. This block is 7 tons in weight. Next to this one, there is another one, and as you can see, they meet at a straight line. Jock is sitting on the next one, and the next one, and the next one. This is the first row that covers the pyramid. Below it, right here, is the second row of blocks, about 40 centimeters in thickness. Below it, the third one. Below the third, there is the fourth row of blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, this is a construction here, not naturally made hill. At the archaeological trench number 5. Let's see what we have. Remember those different color pieces from the tunnel ravne? Blue, brown, gray, green, and the binder, this brownish material. Of course, it is clay. Here it is even more visible. How did they make it? Now, when Egyptians made their pyramids, they were cutting the granite 900 kilometers south. They were cutting pieces of 20 tons, 80 tons, that's the biggest one in Cheops, 220 tons, that's the biggest one in Kefren's pyramid. 220 tons, that's a huge mass. Now, our block over there was 7 tons in weight. Here, some of them are probably 20 tons. It's much easier, you know, not to cut it in the quarry and transport it here, but to make it here in situ. Now those smaller pieces you can even bring in baskets and then mix it with the binder. So look what we have here. Layout is a little bit different. We have one concrete block running horizontally. And then we have another one also running horizontally. And this one goes under the first one. And then we have the third one going under the second one. The fourth one going under the third one, creating a series of steps. Obviously, the reason is structural stability. The other thing, during the 60s, 70s and 80s, people here were planting those pine trees. Now the pine tree has the feature to have very long roots. Yes. So if you see a tree above the ground, which is about 30 meters high, usually you have 30 meters below the ground. Now in some places you have a natural stone, you know, below the ground. Like here in Bosnia, there is a river Neretva Valley, 120 kilometers south, with a lot of breccia. Breccia is a natural stone, very hard. It is product of 25 millions of years. However, the roots of this tree, they release certain liquid that melts the natural stone, then the root goes inside, very deep, 25, 30 meters. Look what happened here. We have removed several trees. This was one of them. And look at the root. Instead of going through, it went left and right. Why? Because they could not go through the cemented concrete. It was much, much harder than the
Ok, stigli smo do ovdje, kako se da siđemo?
A? Nadam se da je piramida Meseca bliže zemlji nešto. Od ove piramide Sunca.
Jeste, jeste. Kako se već ono zvao kroz džungle i prašume?
Now Justin is our lead man for the volunteer group. He is from Canada. Say a few words, Justin, about the work and people you and...
Yeah, I mean, we've got a great group here. It's taken us about 2 weeks to dig down from the top to this layer now. It should be about 4 meters until we reach the concrete, maybe a little more. So it looks like in that crack there, we just sort of uncovered it right now, today. And, you know, a few more days we'll be able to get rid of the rest of these clay layers and more of it should be exposed. We'll be able to see, hopefully soon, how far these holes go and, you know, what's underneath. But it's going real well. We've got a great group of volunteers from the last shift and this shift. Everyone's working hard and very enthusiastic. We're getting close. We're getting close over here.
And what about the inspection, Simon? You were telling us that it is protected area. Doesn't it count for this place?
Yeah. Well, raise unnecessary questions.
Well, I just
For
had
4
to
years, while the other minister was there, you know, they did not let us work in protected or unprotected areas. And this is like a border line here. Klaus Donner is from Austria, for those of you who don't know him. You.
Looks like just kind of rain gully or
You're
something.
from Austria.
Yes.
Now everybody knows.
Yes, he wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Speech.
Now you will see in my speech I will show today to Sam. A friend of mine used a new technology which can scan down up to 3,200 meters using a special program through satellite. And I asked him before, when I got the invitation from Sam to attend his great conference, I asked my friend, be so kind and make a check over the Sun Pyramid. And he did a check, and you will see at the ending of my speech, I will show you 2, 3 Google Earth photographs where he definitely was drawing all the tunnels and the empty caves and some caves with the bones inside the Sun Pyramid. And it starts from 5 meters at the beginning, at the beginning of first third of the pyramid. You have already the first tunnel system, which is about 5 meters under the ground. So that's why I was very much surprised here. You might be just before the one of the entrances, because suddenly the tunnel ends up, but still around 5 meters under the ground. That means there must be an entrance. And here, for me, it looks like you might have found one of these entrances. And then there are other tunnel systems. Some of them, the deepest one is 400 meters underground. And it goes up by certain distances. And it looks like the pyramid was built up like the Mexican pyramids, one after one after one, always getting bigger. So I'm not a geologist, I'm not an archaeologist, so I could not, and we didn't have time enough to talk before my departure to get all the scientific explanations from him. But maybe you, when you will see these photographs and the tunnel systems, you can figure out that there is a lot inside.
Excellent.
And on some parts, it looks like one level tunnel system is ending up suddenly, but there is another one about 20 or 40 meters deeper starting here. That means, which he could not find out, is if there is a straight entrance going down to connect the next level. So, and we did not know about Yotti's excavation, which we visited this morning. So he didn't check this area. But when I come back, I will ask him to do us the favor to check the area from where you have the labyrinth, Raven labyrinth, to the Sun Pyramid. Then you might see the easiest way to connect the pyramid. But as this looks already, and it's a kind of coincidence that today they find most probably this one. So I think, Sam, somebody's helping you.
I call this. It's all come and dig as well.
And in one of the rooms inside, he also detected bones. That means there must be a bigger grave inside.
From a satellite.
Yes.
Okay.
You won't believe it.
Yeah,
You won't believe it, but it works out because we had already 2 tests in southern Bavaria. Each one was 100% functioning. Even via satellite, as you said, bones, and we found them. You won't believe it. It's a good technology.
They should be looking for gold.
You won't believe it. We have the knowledge and we did it, but we won't tell it. My name is Klaus Dohner. I come from Austria. My major work is cultural exhibitions. And a few years ago, I got the idea, because I read so many books about unexplainable artifacts. I started researching, and 2001 I did an exhibition in Vienna, and I was skeptic at the beginning, but finally when we had some scientific researches, we found out that many things are definitely very old and not explainable for the official science, and that made me more and more interesting. And since the last years I'm researching for unknown civilizations. I'm also studying some international mythology, because I found out that many of the myths, they have a big sequence of reality. And when I got the invitation to come here to attend the conference about the Bosnian Pyramids, I studied a lot about them in internet, and I contacted a good friend of mine who invented a new technology with which he can scan down underground up to 3,200 meters underground. And I asked him if he could do me the favor to do a scanning over the Sun Pyramid. I did not know at that moment that there are some other excavations here also sensational and very interesting. So we did the scan only over the Sun, so-called, until now so-called Sun Pyramid, and we found a lot of tunnels, many rooms inside this mountain, and it gives us the approval that this definitely must have been a pyramid in former days. We found tunnel systems from the lowest one 5 meters down to 400 meters. There is a tunnel system even under the Sun Pyramid, which is 400 meters under from the top down under the earth. And we also found in the first third of the pyramid, we found one room, and my friend could identify bone material that might be a grave inside the pyramid. So far, what we could research, and I hope that our research might be a big help for Sam to find the right entrances to the pyramid, which would save him a lot of time and a lot of money. And I wish him all the best, and I'm sure it will be finally one of the most important, or maybe the most important discovery, archaeological discovery of our century. When I was first in the excavation, Raven excavations, it is so incredible, so unbelievable what we saw there, that there are so many tunnels which were filled, which upon age dating, the making of the tunnels was around 10,350 years before our time, And they also found out that around 5,000 years before our time, they filled it again, the whole huge tunnel system, they filled it so exactly, which even today would be a very, very difficult work. And all of the side tunnels were closed or half closed with stone walls, so no geologist or archaeologist ever could say that this was done by nature. I saw it and I know that this was done by human, and we don't know anything about this civilization. And as I'm also studying on the myth of giants, I heard today in the conference already very interesting information about the surrounding area of Visoko and also of the other countries surrounded. Always the stories are connected with huge buildings, with giants, and this is very interesting for me, and I will further continue to study on these things.
I am very intrigued by this new find, and I must admit that I don't understand. I want to believe. I don't understand one thing. You say that this technology is able to show bones.
Yeah.
How comes that the bones
No, it
are...
doesn't show bones. It shows that there is bone material. The sequences, the radiation of the material.
I see.
That means he can find material which he has on his scale. That means, of course, bones, iron, copper, gold, silver, precious stones. Every material has a different energy or
radiation,
radiation.
level.
Yeah, and that's what he can see. He can see empty rooms, tunnels, and if there is an empty room, he runs the material program. And when
He scans.
and when there are bones inside, it shows. And then he can even calculate the volume. So that means he can see there are a few bones, there are many bones, or there are huge bones, because we did this checking in southern Germany, and we found an unknown grave from the Second World War with at least 500 dead people.
So the technology is fully checked
It's
and
fully
it's working.
checked. It's fully checked. We found already we have 5 guarantees that because he himself is very skeptic. I said, yeah, but it's hard because the mountain goes down like this, so it takes me more time because the distance is always going down, and usually he's scanning, let's say 5 meters, 10 meters, 50 meters, 20 meters. But if it goes like this, it's more difficult. So it's very complicated. So he said, I did my best. I know he is the best. There was one lake in Germany and they were searching something only 2 weeks ago, and he found iron, but always on one certain place, and then 10 meters, another one, and he said, I have no idea what this is, but it is iron. So my friend checked it, and he found out he was moving with the boat over it and looking down with the glasses, and he found exactly the distance, exactly iron pillars. They are not coming up over the sea, they are under the sea level. And he found out that before the Second World War, they tried to make a bridge, and they already put the iron pillars inside. So everyone exactly with GPS, perfect. So you can be sure that this scanning it's not finalized yet. It is just to find the tunnel systems, and in one of the rooms he did the material check and he found bones.
Does this satellite imagery shows that all of the known pyramids were interconnected with hallways? No, they were not.
I only asked him to do the Sun Pyramid. I didn't know about the Raven. The only thing, he found one outgoing tunnel, and this one he checked, and it goes directly under the river to the Moon Pyramid. There's a connection there. I think it's about, I'm not sure, but I think it's about 180 meters deep. 180 meters. And another outline was, and he found out that that was a tunnel system 180 meters, and it goes about 9 kilometers under the mountains to the other village. I don't know, I forgot the name, but I show you on the map.
Okay.
So that means the Sarah told me Sarah told me today that there is a mythology about the Sun Pyramid, that the princess was living there and she had to disappear, and she was using an underground tunnel. This is a story, a legend. And we find the tunnel. So you see again, legend and reality.
What is your take on the civilization of Visoko? What do you think personally? Who were these men, beings?
That's very interesting, because I also got the story about giants in this area, and as I'm studying especially also the legends about giants, and I found already bones in Ecuador from a 7.6 meter giant, and there are still 3 giant skeletons about 4 meters underground. We have to excavate them with an archaeologist. And I got new information from Bolivia, 2.6 meter giants, and from United States, from Utah. So giants is not just a legend, they really existed. And from one visitor of this conference, she visited Pakistan, and I got the information that she could see there a giant skeleton of 5 meters. So all over the world now we find real bones and skeletons of giants. And as many of the pyramids, let's say for example Teotihuacan in Mexico, the very big giant, the very big pyramid area with the Sun Pyramid, with the Moon Pyramid, and with the Quetzalcoatl Pyramid, when the Spanish conquistadors arrived there and they saw that these are not mountains but a kind of monuments. They even didn't see that these are real pyramids, because they were also covered with earth and some trees. So they asked them if they built these monuments, and in the local Aztecs, they told them no, these were built by the giants when the sun was not shining, whatever that means, but they said that the giants did these buildings. And the same story we have in Tiahuanaco in Bolivia. There are also pyramids, and again when the Spanish conquistadors asked the Aymaras there, did you build these monuments? They said no, this was built by the giants at the time when the sun was not shining. We have also roots or informations about giants in Japan. In Yonaguni, they found there a very huge underground monument building construction, connected most probably with giants, because the stairs would be too high for our size people. So that might be also a link to giants. So especially in combination with the building of pyramids, always the name of giants appears. And as here in this area also are the legends and stories about the giants, could be that that was really a human race which was taller, where they were taller than we are today. And that would be maybe an explanation why you find so many big, huge stone plates up on the pyramid side, which would be very, very difficult for normal size human to bring up there. And the next connected story with giants and huge stone buildings we found out last year in Sardinia, Italy. There are the so-called nurages, up to 20 meter high stone towers made out of huge stones, and also the so-called giant domes. That means a construction which has a big room inside, and at the end of left side, right side of the entrance, you have a stone construction which forms the whole monument as a Taurus or bull head. And I met there very old gentlemen, and they told me that when they were young men, a few years before the Second World War, Italian army came and they brought out from some of these giant tombs giant skeletons with a size between 3 and 3.50 meters. So again, here we have very big constructions, which is very hard to explain, and on the other side we have the story of real giant skeletons.
Is there any, have there been found any artifacts near these skeletons? I'm thinking tools or clothing or...
Clothing is the most difficult because, as you know, after a certain time clothes and all these things will disappear. When they found some
armor, perhaps?
Armor, no. As far as, oh yes, in Utah they found in a tunnel system 2 mummies, one man in iron armors. He had red hair and a red beard, and the man was 3 meters in size, and the lady 2.7 meters with blonde hair, and she had also some decorations like a kind of like a crown, and they found 60 stone boxes, and every stone box included some metal plates, like copper plates, with an unidentifiable writing on it. My discovery makes me definitely thinking that we had already in the past several high civilizations, and they might have destroyed through themselves. Nobody knows. For example, I had the chance to talk today with the ambassador from Pakistan, and we were talking about Mohenjo-Daro, and he also confirmed that they found human skeletons there with very high radiation, and Mohenjo-Daro was destroyed most probably 3,000–4,000 years ago, and they also found in the area of Mohenjo-Daro melted stones, and to melt stone you need a very, very high temperature.
Do you exclude or include the possibility of extraterrestrial races visiting Earth or maybe living here?
Until a few months ago, I did not want to talk about extraterrestrials, because I always said, as long as I do not have any confirmation, I would not consider this. I more consider about lost civilizations. But in November last year, I received a few first photos from a new artifact finding. A farmer in Central America found over 3,000 artifacts, and when I saw the photos I was really shocked, because on the photos you saw sun eruptions, you saw UFOs, I saw human with different eyes, like very big eyes, with uniforms and with helmets, where you even could see that there was a glass closed, so it looks definitely like space suits, but the faces were not like normal human, they looked different, and that made me a little bit surprised. And I have to consider also about the possibility that once, or maybe several times, there were also visitors from other stars on our Earth, and especially in our days there are so many UFO sightings, and that gives the whole story something to consider about it.
What is your take on the function of this Valley of Pyramids? Do you think that it was some sort of machine or communication device, or as Mr. Sam Osmanagic claims, some sort of energy producing machine again? device?
I think it has something to do with producing energy and sound waves, because Michael Tellinger, a very great researcher in South Africa, he studied the hundreds of thousands of big stone circles, and they did also special research inside these stone circles, and they found out that these stone circles produces a sound which cannot be heard by human, but it produces 72 decibel and 145 kilohertz, I think. That means it goes close to the critical mass, and critical mass, a physician told me, means creating free energy and even levitation. So, and those stone circles, they also produce a temperature on the ground in nighttime, so animals recognize that, and cows and other animals, they prefer the inside of these circles as a sleeping place, because the ground is much warmer than the outside ground. So I'm quite sure that also these stone circles had a special purpose to produce something of energy, something of which we don't know to use or to produce, but that gives me also again the approval that former civilizations had even more know-how, especially natural know-how, than we do, and I'm quite sure we could learn from these technologies a lot, and Sam is on the right way, and also Michael.
What do you think? Why are no small artifacts? Again, I'm thinking tools to carve out tunnels, or flashlights, or natural heat sources, anything.
This is very hard to answer. They definitely, that's what I think, and that's what I heard already from some scientists. They must have had a kind of technology which we do not have yet. They didn't need tools, because on not one of those places they found such tools, and there are several very good examples. For example, once 3 years ago, Professor Muldashev, a Russian researcher, found in Crete an underground tunnel system, a labyrinth, a very huge labyrinth, and it's concerned also with the mythology, the Minotaurus, and this the tunnel entrances, they are so perfect in the scale, done in granite, and the style they made it. The photos I saw, they look exactly like some of the tunnel entrances at Raven, at the place here. Here it is a kind of stone material, not that hard to do like in Crete. In Crete it is granite, but Professor Muldashev told me that the entrance is on a flat ground and the whole area is flat, and then the entrance goes down underground, and inside there is a very huge labyrinth. And he told me, and also geologists approved it, if you make an empty room inside a mountain, the material you bring out has 3 times the volume, bigger than the empty room. So that means, especially in Crete, there must be a small hill full of stones, but there are no stones. So the question there is, how did they do it, and where did they bring the material? Because in the whole surrounding area there is no hill with rocks, broken rocks. So that's one question. And the second question is, in Austria, in southern Austria, an engineer is researching an underground tunnel system, also majority in granite, and there are also not the broken stones outside the entrance. So again, here is the question, how did they do it, and where did they bring the stones? So I think they definitely had a technology which we don't know.
Tell me, why aren't there much more of us and you here? Why do I only see the fringe science here? Everybody's like trying, I'm not saying, but it's like trying to cover up it very smoothly. That is not existing.
This is very easy to answer. If the official science is accepting the Sun Pyramid as a pyramid that opens so much unanswerable questions for the science that it's easier to refuse to study it, and it's easier to refuse the acceptance of originality than just staying then in front of the press and saying, I don't know. And it would open a missing link between thousands of years of knowledge, which they could not give an easy answer, and that's very hard to touch it. And we should not try to change our history, but our history is different.
Even if that means a possible free source of energy?
Free source of energy means there are oil production companies, and they might not be happy if something like this comes up, but it would help to save our Earth from destruction.
Thank you very much. It's a beautiful interview.
To što čovjek priča, 300 metara penetrira. To je nevjerovatno. Sve je dobro došlo.
Ništa, ajde mi da se slikamo iz Srbije, da imamo gostima Srbije. Ajde,
Good morning. Today we're gonna continue our Bosnian adventure. We came first to the place that we call the tumulus or tumuli in Vratnica. Vratnica is the name of the village here. In Bosnian, Vratnica or Vrata means gate. And sure enough, from here we got the gate to the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids. 4 kilometers away, the Moon Pyramid and the Sun Pyramid. In 2006, when we started our excavation at the pyramids, the locals at that time had one block sticking out, this one over here, with the reddish color. At that time, everything was covered by soil and grass, no blocks exposed. So they saw this one block and they contacted us saying, well, we found one block, maybe this is a pyramid also. Well, this was not a pyramid because the shape is conical, rounded. However, it seems that this is a very interesting structure. In archaeology, the conically shaped artificial structures are called tumulus or tumuli. The biggest one is Silbury Hill in southern England. There are several more in England, Marlborough and some others, but there are thousands of them in Hungary, in Czech Republic, in Greece, Macedonia and other countries. They've been built in different times by different civilizations. Most recent one, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years, they were usually built as a burial site. However, the older ones don't have that function. For example, just Silbury Hill, which I mentioned, they never found any bodies or any valuables. Now, in the broader terms, the tumulus comes from Latin and it means hidden. And yes, something is hidden below the tumulus. Now, the man who really started the excavation here was a local guy. His name is Admir. Is he here? Admir. Admir. This is his father. And then he's calling his son. Now, Admir, he's been with Foundation for 6 years now. He's our field supervisor. One of the most reliable persons that we have. And he started excavation with a group of kids, actually. And they've done a great job, and later on we joined them and we put this project under the Foundation's umbrella. Look what we have here. Once we excavated the first stone, which used to be here actually, Then we started more excavation. We got the second one, and the third one, and the fourth one. This particular block is 4.40 meters in length, 160 in width, 63 centimeters thick. It is 23,600 kilos in mass, almost 24 tons. One of the biggest, if not biggest, megalithic block in southern Europe, installed in one of the ancient temples. Next to this one, 20 ton, 15, 12, 8, and so on. So what we have a huge megalithic terrace. Let's see how it was made, because it was made. You see this layer with the darker yellow color, about 8 centimeters thick? That's the first layer. And the base of 55 centimeters. The top layer was glued to the base. Between the top layer and the base, we did discover the binder. So somebody was gluing the top layer to the base. They wanted to have this wavy pattern on the top. Secondly, we can see the reddish color here and there. So once it is exposed to the weather, to rain and so on, we can see that probably some of the iron ore has been in here. This block has a very high specific weight. It seems that they had a way to mix different material and actually to pour this block at site. Now, besides this particular block there, let's see how the structure looks like. So we have a layer of blocks here. And then below it, we have a layer of clay. Below layer of clay, we have a concrete right over here. Below concrete layer, we have more clay. And then again, we got the blocks, like this one here, 2-layer blocks. So since this is a conical shape, it's getting narrow as it goes to the top. So what we have here are the concentric circles of concrete, clay, blocks, clay, sandstone plates, and so on, all the way to the top. Now we were thinking about the purpose of this artificial structure. So what we did the core drilling on 3 different places. The most interesting one was from the very top, which we did 3 years ago. Now the height of the top comparing to the road is about 32 meters. But we said we were going to drill for about 70 meters. We just wanted to make sure that there is nothing, below 32 meters. So we were drilling. When we get to 25, 30 meters, 32, it was mostly clay. And the geologist who was working here, he said, well, it's a clay, it's natural material, let's stop here. But we said, no, we are going to go to 70 meters in depth. So 35, 40, 45 meters, all clay, 50. And then at 54 meters, the head of the machine broke, meaning it hit something very hard. We replaced the head, we were adding the water to cool the machine. And then for next 2.5 meters, we were getting out the pieces of concrete, extremely hard material. Geologists could not believe, but that was a man-made concrete. And that's what he wrote in the report. And then for about 3 meters, there was nothing, a hollow space. We were not getting anything on the surface. From 56 to 59. And finally, from 59 to 61, again, concrete, about 2.5 meters. And then from 61 to 70 meters, marl, sandstone, natural materials. So it seems that at the depth of 54 meters, we hit the concrete block, probably the ceiling. From 56 to 59, the hollow space, most probably the chamber. From 59 to 61, the concrete foundation. So somebody in distant past was digging about more than 20 meters in depth, laid the concrete foundation, built the chamber, put the concrete ceiling, and then built the huge artificial structure on top of it. So The idea when we get some money is to come from the side of the tumulus and then dig the tunnel through and try to get to that particular chamber. It would cost us probably about 60,000–70,000 euros. Now, in the meantime, we were doing some more analysis, and our friends, the physicists, the engineers, and the others, they were checking some for certain energy phenomena. The first one who was here, Dr. Harry Oldfield, who was here 3 years ago with his PIP camera, he discovered that it seems that there is a very strong energy source below this structure, but the energy source is rather wide. But once it's coming through the tumulus, it's getting more and more focused. So through the top, it's coming like the beam. So it seems that the purpose of this particular blocks, especially with the iron, was to focus the energy that was coming up. So in a sense, this might work as the energy machine. Then we've done more screening this year and the last year with the oscilloscope multimeters, and then we concluded that we have electromagnetic field on the top and the ultrasound. So some of the speakers tomorrow, day after, and Friday will be talking about those phenomena. So I don't want to spoil their speeches. But it seems that the ancients knew very powerful energy spots within this planet, and they were using them, they were strengthening them, and it seems that they had different ways how to get the energy they need. Okay, a friend of ours, Dragan, where is Dragan? Yeah. I want to say a few words about that particular plate. Now, this material, it looks like a sandstone plate, like a regular sandstone plate. However, when you cut it in half, and then you can see, or you can maybe come from the top. Let's come from the top. You can see that level of stone. Before about 1 year, this piece of stone was fall down and broke like that. I was here a couple days after that moment, and the surface of that is almost very clean, made from silicium sand. I'm an electronic engineer from Banja Luka, and I think that is made like semiconductor. Silicium and 2 levels of oxidation made semiconductor in the technology. That is very interesting, because the level of energy in that hill is something to said to us is some part of machine. I don't know, many plates is in the hill like satellite antenna. We have energy from the center, and we have something like semiconductor. Very interesting. If somebody want to see photos of that in the beginning, we have in our gallery. I will send you. That's all. Find some analogies in our technology today, but simply they were using the natural material. If needed, they would melt them. They would make, the blocks they needed. But it's amazing how much work and how much knowledge they have. And it seems that in the past everything was about the energy, number one. All other features were interesting. They would incorporate a lot of mathematical, geometrical, astronomical knowledge, but the energy was number one, because with the energy you can communicate long distances. When I say long, it's not between, like in the US, between 48 continuous states, but long distances between this planet and the others. It's just a matter of having a single the signal strong enough. Plus for all other needs that you had on this planet. Okay, you can come the rest of you here to see how the blocks were made. And there's the reason why during the earthquake the terrace would not collapse, but it would lock much stronger. Some of the blocks do not have this top layer. You know, once it's been exposed for 4 or 5 years to the weather, they lost it. As a matter of fact, here we can see clearly how the base looks like. It's flat, it's ready for the top layer, which is missing here. So they were gluing the top layer to the base. What did they want to achieve with this texture, with this wavy pattern? It might have to do something with the energy or with the water collection. Okay, let's go and climb the top.
And all these plates are inclined towards the center.
8 degrees, yes.
Which would mean water would collect
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Which could eventually split the whole thing if it was too much water for too much time.
It all depends where the water goes.
But you haven't found any draining system.
No, no. But it's interesting that, you know, between the blocks there is always, you know, this space in between them. They are never filled to the top. So even inside, when you go inside, you know, it's like the water canals.
Would you not expect these to have been joined tightly originally?
I don't think so. We found them this way. When we uncovered them, they were, you know, they were split like with, you know, this 5 to 10 centimeters.
So that would be a normal movement by temperature changing, slowly pushing them apart more and more.
This is how we found them.
Yeah, but and they also fit exactly. If you could push them together, they would fit
Yes, they
nicely,
would.
no?
Yes, yes.
Which you probably wouldn't be
Yes.
able to do if you cast them on the spot here and with a 10 gap distance. Wouldn't make sense to me at least.
I agree.
And earthquakes, as they happen here, they would also work in that direction, right? As one way. It would fit perfectly. Huh? It's like a puzzle. Just join them. It would all fit perfectly.
Yes, they would. And now let's look around. We can see the greenery and really beautiful landscape. I did mention yesterday briefly that tens of thousands of years back, we've never had an ice age in the sense that we had an ice coverage here in Bosnia. Really everything, you know, everything south from Austria did not have that ice coverage. Everything north had the ice up to 3,000 meters. So the average temperature was maybe 3 degrees less. So it has always been a very pleasant conditions for living. A lot of greens, a lot of woods, a lot of food, a lot of material to build the houses, a lot of water, and presence of humans for 40,000 years, according to the anthropological genetics. So if the humans were building all these structures, then they did have very pleasant environment. Now, this is the place where we did our core drilling, basically where this log fire is, fire logs. So we went down 70 meters. We still have that hole, so eventually we'll probably use one of the cameras and we're going to go down when we are ready to do, you know, the tunnel project. Now, a lot of people who are more sensitive as far as the energy, they can sense a lot of strong energy at these spots. That's one thing. Then the other thing, we can see about 100 meters away, there is a, looks like a little rounded hill. It's curved there, and we did excavation there also. You can see our archaeological trenches. What we found there was completely different. There are small stone squares, sandstone squares, one next to each other. A very interesting pavement. They are not regular in the sense that, you know, they are spiral or they are straight, but they go on different levels. So it's interesting that such big difference as far as the material and the design is, within just 100 meters parameter. The question is, how many more structures under the Bosnian soil and forest? The idea with this project is to try to get some of the forgotten knowledge and forgotten constructions back on the surface and try to learn the ancient times. Because even though they did not have technology like we have today, internet or cranes or automobiles, they had their way, they had their means to transport, to shape, to build, and to use what Mother Nature gives us. Alright, do you have any comments at this point, or somebody wants to add something?
I missed a very quick part of your talk, but where were you drilling? Which was the drilling you were making? Right here?
Here, right
okay.
Here. I think, admire. I think the hole was either here or there. The hole was about 12 centimeters. I think it's over there. It's about 12 centimeters.
Okay, and you used like a
It's
water
like a pipe.
drilling.
It's like a pipe, and you
drill
go
bit.
down,
Yeah.
and then what you do, you get the core out, the material out, and then you place it in the pallets. So you know exactly the first meter, second, third, so you know how the stratigraphy looks like. And then first we are going through those layers like blocks and the clay and the mold blocks, and then at 54 meters, which is about 170 feet deep, we hit the concrete block.
The concrete. Okay.
Yes. And actually that piece of concrete was analyzed by Dr. Joseph Davidovitz. And that's what he said, yeah, this is a cemented concrete. This is actually, he called it geopolymer. Geopolymer.
Like his invented
yes,
concrete,
yes,
okay.
Yeah. So now, we probably have a chamber. The question is, what was the purpose of if the chamber is there? What was the purpose? And some people think, oh, maybe there is something there hidden in a sense of valuables or maybe bones. Personally, I don't think so. If this was some type of the energy machine, then we won't be finding stuff like the bones or. But what's even more valuable would be technology. The same thing with the underground labyrinth. I mean, somebody went through so much effort to seal everything. So if they were hiding something, I mean, it would not be just the bones from a king or so, or a couple of pounds of gold. It has to be something so much valuable that if somebody got in possession of that, they could probably rule the world. And that's the technology. So if you have, for example, let's speculate, if the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is a huge energy machine and you can produce energy beams, I mean, if you have that, of course you can use it in a good purpose to serve the community, or you can try to, rule everybody else. So that would be something that would justify so much effort to seal everything.
Yes.
And the same thing here. Nalazimo se u Visokom u srcu Bosne i Hercegovine. Polovica septembra u toku je druga međunarodna naučna konferencija o Bosanskoj dolini piramida. Prva je održana 2008. godine. Ukupno 55 stručnjaka iz 15 zemalja je zaključilo da je Bosanska dolina piramida arheološki fenomen. Ova druga, uz učešće oko 27 stručnjaka iz 11 zemalja, treba da odgovori na pitanje koja je svrha bosanskih piramida. Otkud uopšte bosanske piramide u svjetskoj arheološkoj terminologiji? U aprilu 2005. godine prvi put sam došao u Visoko drugim poslom, da posjetim lokalni muzej. Međutim, kad sam ispred sebe vidio uzvišenje koje ima izvanrednu geometriju piramide, sa trouglastim stranama, sa izraženim bridovima i sa perfektnom orijentacijom prema stranama svijeta, bilo mi je jasno da nije riječ o prirodnim brdima, već o vještačkim konstrukcijama. Naime, mada pojam piramide se zasniva na egipatskim piramidama na platovu Gize, gdje vidimo kamene blokove koji su slagani jedan na drugi, ipak treba znati da većina piramida u svijetu je još uvijek prekrivena zemljom i vegetacijom. To je slučaj sa 250 piramida u kineskoj provinciji Shanxi, To je slučaj sa hiljadama piramida u Meksiku, Gvatemali, Hondurasu, Salvadoru, Belizeu. To je slučaj ovdje i u centralnoj Bosni. U proteklih 6 godina naša neprofitna fundacija Arheološki park Bosanska piramida Sunca utrošila je oko 350.000 radnih sati na arheološka iskopavanja, analize uzoraka, radiokarbonska datiranja, zaključujući da se u Visokom nalazi kompleks od najmanje 5 piramida, koje smo nazvali bosanskim piramidama Sunca, Mjeseca, Zmaja, Zemlje i Ljubavi, zatim kompleksa tumulusa i mreže podzemnih tunela, prolaza, raskršća i prostorija. Čini se da je riječ o jednom od najvećih kompleksa piramida u svijetu. Naime, bosanska piramida Sunca sa svom visinom od 220 metara daleko je viša od Keopsove, koja je visoka 147 metara i dugo je smatrana za najvišu piramidu svijeta. Sa otkrićem bosanskih piramida donosimo 7 elemenata koji će zauvijek promijeniti naš pogled na prošlost. Broj 1, ovo su prve piramide u Europi. Broj 2, ovo su najveće piramide na svijetu. Broj 3, piramide prekriva nanos zemlje i vegetacije, koji je prema Institutu za agropedologiju Bosne i Hercegovine star oko 12.000 godina, što znači da su piramide još starije. Dakle, riječ je o najstarijim piramidama na svijetu. Broj 4, kada dignemo nanos zemlje i vegetacije, nailazimo na blokove pravougornog oblika. Njihovom analizom na 6 međunarodnih naučnih institucija, među kojima su 4 iz Bosne i Hercegovine, 1 iz Francuske i 1 iz Italije, potvrđeno da je riječ o betonu izvanredne kvalitete, dvostruko kvalitetnije nego naši betoni. 5. element, orijentacija stranica piramide je jako važna. Naime, sve kineske piramide su orijentisane prema stranama svijeta, istok, zapad, sjever, jug. Slična stvar je sa egipatskim piramidama na platovu Gize, perfektna orijentacija prema sjeveru. Također većina peruanskih i svih 200 Kahokija piramida u Americi imaju orijentaciju prema sjeveru. Prema rezultatima Instituta za geodetska ispitivanja ovdje u Bosni i Hercegovini zaključeno je da orijentacija sjeverne strane bosanske piramide Sunca ima odstupanje od 0 stepeni, 0 minuta i 12 sekundi. Nikada na planeti nije podignuta piramida sa preciznijom orijentacijom nego što je to slučaj sa piramidom Sunca ovdje u Visoko. Sljedeći element, osim ovih 5, odnosi se na kompleks ispod zemlje. 6. element nam govori da se ispod Bosanske doline piramida krije najveća mreža podzemnih tunela na svijetu. Dugačka je desetinama kilometara, ide ispod svih piramida i ne samo da ih povezuje, već ta mreža zajedno sa čitavim nizom prostorija vjerojatno ima određena povoljna energetska zračenja za organizam, dakle ljekovita svojstva. I 7. element, u tim tunelima pronalazimo velike megalitne blokove koje dostižu do 8 tona i koji su prema rezultatima mjerenja keramički blokovi. Dakle, najveći keramički blokovi iz prahistorije. Tih 7 elemenata zauvijek mijenja način na koji mi posmatramo prošlost. Ali to nije sve. Između 2 naučne međunarodne konferencije radili smo čitav niz istraživanja u pogledu energetskih fenomena i ustanovili da ih postoji barem 5. Prvi su elektromagnetna polja, koja možemo da mjerimo iznad piramide Sunca, tumulusa u vratnici i u podzemnoj mreži tunela. Drugi fenomen je ultrazvuk. To je nešto što mi ne možemo čujemo. Naš čujni opseg je od 20 Hz do 20 kHz. Ovo je oko 28 kHz. Treći fenomen je infrazvuk, koji je ispod one granice koje mi možemo da čujemo. 4. element su magnetna, a 5. elektropolja. Prema tome, našim naučnim instrumentima, osciloskopima, multimetrima i drugim, mi možemo da mjerimo energetske fenomene koji imaju vještački izvor. Vještački izvor su piramide i podzemni tuneli. Dakle, neko je dizajnirao i napravio građevinske objekte piramida. Mi zapravo sa ovim multidisciplinarnim naučnim projektom činimo pionirske korake u istraživanju piramida u svijetu. Očigledno one nisu građene samo u Egiptu i Meksiku, već na 6 kontinenata, od Perua i Bolivije do Kine i Kambodže, od Hondurasa, Gvatemale, preko Kanara, Mauricijusa, pa sve do Australije. Imamo ih u Južnoj Francuskoj, u Bosni, u Grčkoj. I čini se da je svrha originalnih piramida bila upravo to, da budu veliki generatori energije, jer čitav naš život zapravo mi se borimo za što više energije. Međutim, piramide, osim tih energetskih fenomena, obično prate i mnoštvo astronomskog, matematičkog i geometrijskog znanja koje je inkorporirano u gradnju tih kompleksa. U našem slučaju dvije glavne piramide, piramide Sunca i Mjeseca, imaju upravo tu astronomsku vezu. Naime, kada Sunce izađe, možemo da vidimo sjenu Sunca od piramide Sunca u Visočkoj dolini. Kako se kreće na horizontu, tako se i sjena kreće prema Bosanskoj piramidi Mjeseca na kojoj trenutno stojimo. Tačno uoči zalaska tokom ljetnih mjeseci, sjena piramide Sunca u potpunosti prekriva piramidu Mjeseca i na simboličan način kaže da je vladavina Sunca i dana završena i da počinje vladavina noći i mjeseca. Ostala imena piramida su također vrlo interesantna. Piramida zmaja, mada u Bosni nema zmajeva, ipak zmaj je simbol za znanje i u Kini, Peru, Meksiku. I njime smo odali priznanje znalačkim graditeljima piramida. Četvrti je hram Majke Zemlje. Zašto Majka Zemlja? Zbog toga što Zemlja zbilja jeste naša majka, a mi smo to u zadnjih nekoliko stotina godina zaboravili i pojavljujemo se kao osvajači naše planete. I na koncu peta piramida je piramida ljubavi. Riječi su jako moćne, a najmoćnija od svih je upravo ljubav. Kada jednoj ogromnoj strukturi date ime ljubavi, ideja je da čitavu dolinu obojite ljubavlju. A ideja je da nakon 20 godina i imidža Bosne i Hercegovine kao zemlje rata, nasilja, dakle svih negativnih vibracija, mijenjamo sa ovim projektom, sa arheološkim istraživanjima, sa kulturnim nasljeđem, sa turistima, sa slanjem poruka prijateljstva i poruka ljubavi u svijetu.
Hvala lijepo. Hvala.